Hello. Hey. All right, if everybody could grab a seat, pretty please. No, I haven't done anything yet. Okay, beautiful. While everyone's finding their chairs, I'd just like to say welcome to, it's nice we got some background music, love that. Welcome to RMITV Pitch Night. Thanks so much for coming, everybody. Woo! So I'm Jazz, Content Development Manager at RMITV. So I'm running the pitch night, and I'm very excited to see everyone's ideas up on the big screen. I'm hoping everyone's as excited as me. We've got a lot of pitches to get through, so tight ship, 5-minute presentation, 10-minute Q&A. So hopefully everyone has some burning questions that we'll get through. For the pitches tonight, it's all in chronological order on the feedback forms. So we'll start with the greatest party. And we'll end with the tune-up season 2. Okay, without any further ado, I think let's just crack in. So I'm gonna keep time, and I'm gonna be really mean and horrible. Once you reach 5, I'm gonna be like, you're done. And I'm really sorry, I just wish we could all ramble for hours and hours, but unfortunately, no. Beautiful. Okay, so I think we'll have the greatest party of our young lives up first. Can everybody give them a round of applause? And I'm just going to pull up
the slides. Thank you. It's so weird having a microphone doing this. I feel like I have to do call and response. Audience engagement's part of this pitch, guys. It's very exciting. This isn't including my time, is it? Whew. That's okay. I'll do some crowd work. Exactly. How's everyone doing tonight? Woo!
Okay, just waiting on slides.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. All right, begin.
Who's ready to have the greatest party of our young lives? This is our 2026 RMITV web series pitch to you guys today. Next slide. I've got a synopsis for you. The greatest synopsis of our young lives, if you will. Our roommates of 16 Gledhill Parade are here to answer the question, what does it take to throw a great party? It's a very evocative question. It's a very important question that you want to answer. And pulling together the last of their money and their funds, they're going to put on a great party. But questioning something like that, it's such a big question that it's very big, very important, and figuring out what to throw a great party, you have to, undertake a genre-bending odyssey into what it takes to experience that to the fullest. All the good, all the bad, all the weird. Next slide. Now, our concepts for this one, we've sort of broken it into 2 parts, concept and aesthetic, because our concept is that party hosting is hectic. There's a lot that goes on during the day in your build-up, start to end, day flies by, a lot of different stories in there, potential to explore. That's why we want to set this web series over the course of 1 day. When I pitch this to you guys, I want you to think of the pit, but if it was party planning, and Dr. Robbie has to put together a house party over the course of 1 day in each episode. And then that brings us to our aesthetic, because when we're pitching something like this, it's easy to think oh, they're just pitching Project X, they're pitching Superbad. We didn't want to go in that direction because it's already been done. So that's why we're sort of focusing on throwing a great party means having a great theme. And that's why genre is our theme that we focus on in our web series. So each episode will be a different genre that we focus on. So imagine an episode where you're sending your roommate out to go grab a bag of ice, and then what that ends up being is a low-budget fantasy short. This will keep each episode sort of distinct from each other, making it sort of, fun and interesting to watch episode to episode. They're loving it. Next slide. This is our mood board, which I'll step away. As you can see, we've got some great stuff that we're pulling from. Again, Superbad, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. There's a lot to pull from in this, but again, genre is our focus for this, and being weird and fun. Next slide. We've got our characters as well too. We've got some like archetypes that we focus on with this as well too. We've got our planner character, we've got our sort of a diva character, and we've got our sort of floater character. And with these, they're fun archetypes to work with across the series, where there can be a lot of conflict in that and a lot of room to explore how they go through the episodes as well too. Next slide, please. So we've got a little series breakdown. What I want you to take away from this is that we focus a lot on the pre-party elements of planning the greatest party of our young lives. So a lot of our first 4 episodes are dedicated to that planning aspect of it. We do have a section during the party as well too, but focusing on those like sort of smaller moments, those interesting moments to unpack. And then our final episode being like a wind down, kicking out the stragglers. It's like, you know, the debrief after. Next slide. Now with our target audience, we're targeting our sort of uni students aged, 22 to 23. This sort of target audience wants to see more of their stories represented on screen, because there is a lot that, there's a sort of renewed interest in girls in Broad City at the moment, and we kind of want that for Melbourne, of course. 1 minute, excellent. So yeah, what we want to do is engage them with that sort of content for them, but not pander to them where it's all cutesy and like, we're figuring things out. Like, we want to have it fun, and that's where our genre comes in. That's where our, breakdown of each of that sort of like things that aren't highlighted as much happens throughout the series. Next slide. And then this is more logistics stuff. Very quickly, just a breakdown that we don't need to focus on too much of like what type of crew we would need. Next slide. A little project timeline as well. It can be completed within the scope of 16 weeks, just to make that clear. Next slide. And then we know how to budget as well too. So we've had a mock budget going as well too. So yes, that we are all planned with for that one. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you very much. Oh. Whoa.
So we're going to go to the Q&A, about 10 minutes. Any questions, even just comments if you enjoyed it, feel free to speak freely. Thank you.
That guy in the back. Yeah, great question. Other genres that we wanted to explore, and other sort of like interesting conventions that we wanted to explore as well too, was stuff like reality TV. Like, imagine an episode where you're setting up the party, you're doing all like the vibe setting, the setting up the fairy lights, all that sort of thing, getting all trim ready. But imagine if that was a reality TV episode, kind of like The Block, where you like sort of break format from that and then have like sort of like a fun way to explore, okay, what's this aspect, and then how can we turn that into a genre that we want to see that isn't just like, ooh, putting this up and like this is silly. Yeah. Oh.
No, I know. Oh, is the mic working? Oh, we don't have to have the camera on me. That's okay.
Hey.
I know it's early days, so you probably haven't mapped out like the entire plot yet, but I guess I'm just sort of curious, story-wise, is the party a success? Is everybody still friends after all the stress of throwing a party? Is there sort of like an ending, a message maybe?
Yeah, there is an ending. I feel like the message of this in like unpacking that is that there is a lot that goes on through each episode, and there's a lot that flies by, and then obviously tensions arise through the series, because you got to have conflict, you got to have drama, and obviously that'll build episode to episode, where that'll all come to a head in that final one, and like now that the quiet has settled and now all the drama is settled, that will kind of come to a head, so to speak. So I feel like ending on a big note is always good, and ending on like getting all the problems out is like a fun way to end a series as well too. Whether they resolve that or not, who knows? That's a good question. Like, it could be fun to also like end it where it ruins their friendship. Like, ruins the share house. But yeah, that's my answer to that.
Cool.
I think there was someone down there just before you, Jess.
Oh, yeah.
Does this work?
I don't know, just
I love
project.
it's like a talking stick.
Yeah,
Amazing.
sure.
First of all, loved it.
Thank you.
Love the concept.
Thanks.
Since you didn't really get to touch on that, could we hear about like sort of what the crew members you might need are? Or like,
yeah,
do you
yeah.
want to go into that? Yeah.
Oh, the crew members. Well, it's because it's a web series and it is kind of like shooting short films. It's a very much like sort of standard like sort of crew. Like can we go back to the pitch? Just crew logistics, but I'll keep talking in the meantime. Yes, yeah, we basically have sort of a very standard sort of like crew makeup for what we're working with. We did, when we were developing this pitch, have an idea that because we've got those different genres as well too, it could be fun to have different directors take a shot at each of those genres as well. It's like a very like, exploring like your creative abilities and like, something to like an opportunity that could come up with a pitch like this is having different directors on, which could be interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it won't be a New Year's party. Because I feel like the fun of our sort of idea as well too is that those random house parties that you have like at random, someone will just have like a random theme party of like bring a mug party, and then everyone's rocking up with different types of mugs and stuff like that. So it's very much like pulling from that sort of world of like the random house party events that like you'll get thrown into like a Facebook event sometimes. Oh.
Thank you. I have one maybe concern or question.
Yeah.
Are people who are not between the ages of 22 or 23 allowed to watch it?
Yes. Yes. Because I'm going to reveal something. I'm also out of the ages of 22 and 23. I know. Oh, yeah. Uncle alert. Yes, no, it is. We kind of wanted to like zero into that bit, but it is just more of a range of like people in their 20s, because it's like it's always good to have a very specific target audience in that range, but it's always open. Yeah.
Hi.
Oh.
Oops.
Oh, sorry. Hello.
I have the mic. I wanted to ask about the locations that you're thinking for this, because you mentioned a share house. So are you thinking of one particular location, or you're thinking of different locations for each party? What's the scene?
Yes, we'll have one central location, which will be the house, but we also had some sort of like outside locations as well. We don't want to all keep it set there, but it's always easier logistics-wise to have it all in one space. But it would be fun to break format outside of that. Like I kind of mentioned before, sending that sort of, that one roommate out to get all the supplies, like that is an episode of it in itself where you can open up the scope of location and like explore a bit more there, which would be fun. We also had like another fun idea where breaking a format again is like a guests that are going from one really far suburb and trying to make it to the party. And then like, what if that was like the Odyssey or something like that? Like, what if we pulled elements of that, but on a budget-friendly approach, of course. Yes.
So my question is it mostly going to be scripted, or are you going to leave room for like improvisation to kind of give that authentic party vibe?
Definitely. Yeah, improv is key on this one. Obviously, we have to have like scripts set out, so we have a guide, and it's not all just people shooting left, right, and center, going like this line and like no guide at all. But we definitely want to work in improv to something like this, because that is where fun moments are bred, and that's where fun things are seen as well too. I feel like it's really important to have.
And on that, will people be drinking alcohol? Because obviously that will be a bit of an OH&S issue.
Not on set, it won't be happening. We don't want that. Because obviously a safe set is a good set, and alcohol, that creates problems if that's on set as well too.
Yeah. Do you have like an idea of how you're going to recreate that sort of like party scene without the alcohol, if that makes sense?
I think so, because in my head, I visualize it as, again, zeroing in on those moments of, those like smaller moments at the party as well too, and you can explore a lot there without people like doing beer pong, like left, right, and center. Like, I feel like there are small moments in there that you can explore, like the weird people that are like +1 to a party, and then you get trapped in a conversation with them, and then you're like, who invited this person? Like, what is this about? I feel like you can do all that without alcohol.
Yeah. Okay, I will. Does anyone else?
I have a question. I don't know if you elaborated on it, Viv, but where do you envision distributing this being a web series, and who would the audience be that would be like, oh, click on that video, I'm interested in that? Have you thought of that by nature?
That has crossed my mind. In terms of distribution, like YouTube is obviously the place that sort of stuff goes for longer form stuff, even though it's like 10 minutes. But also, I did want to consider stuff like TikTok and Reels and Shorts, because obviously vertical dramas is such a thing at the moment. So it would be really interesting in script development, to find moments where they just work as 30 seconds, or find moments where they work in shorter form that you can just push out to there. Because people will like just scroll through and see like the classic like part 15 of blah blah blah, and they'll just keep watching. Like not that you want to tailor something like that, because it's a bit grim being like, how can I break down this show into like 15-second pieces? But it is something that I've considered, because I want consistent engagement across it, and it felt like in this pitch development stage, genre being that key of like inviting people in, because genre is very recognizable to like audiences that haven't seen things before, or it's very recognizable when you scroll across something and you see that. So genre felt like that key into hooking an audience in, and if it's varied enough, it'll be like, what's coming up next for like this show? Yeah.
Awesome. I'm sorry, we're going to wrap up.
We're wrapping up, sorry.
Big round of applause for Viv. Sorry guys, I'm cruel. Running a tight ship. All right, next up, in review. Fantastic.
Hello everyone. Did you all have enough pizza? Excellent. No? I'm really sorry. We're out of pizza. First thing, full disclosure, my name is Jared, and I am the Production Services and Technical Manager at RMITV. So, I understand the power imbalance here. I am okay with somebody else taking this and running with it. I would like this to get made, though. The show I am pitching is In Reviews, the TV show. So, the pitch is 8 30-minute episodes of the In Reviews written reviews contributors, them getting to talk about and expand on their reviews from the site. I should have written this more. Stop pointing at me. Oh, okay. So I would like to elevate generic film analysis using the technologies that we have at RMITV and at the university to be able to inlay clips from trailers in the films themselves that we're talking about, so that we could do things like close readings of scenes, not the whole movie. Obviously, that would be a completely different show for like hours-long YouTube film essays. Next slide, please. This is my mood board for the show. I want it to be warm and welcoming and friendly. I really like to avoid the sort of man-cavification of podcasts. because I think that is a turn-off to a large demographic of audiences, and I would much rather just be like, we're getting together, and yeah, it looks like a stage, but it's cozy, and we're just having a conversation about these things that we enjoyed watching, or have criticisms of, or things to talk about, and not necessarily have something to shout about, but just explain why the film made us feel a particular way, and the ways in which the filmmakers use those tools to elicit a certain feeling. Next slide, please. So yeah, like I say, the format would be one regular host featuring two revolving guests of In Review's contributors. The other guests I could reach out to include indie filmmakers and people that are involved in the indie film circuit here in Australia to talk about their creations and the other things going on in the indie film network. I would like this to help improve the film literacy of the audience and build up a language that we can all actually use to talk about film. I think that's a bit lacking in our discussion, where it's just, I hate the thing because it features a person I dislike for whatever reason. We can talk about the actual text itself and how it was made and why it was made that way. Next slide, please. So like I say, we'd feature filmmakers or contributors to the In Review's written website. And the bulk of the show would be dedicated to expanding on a piece that those guests have written. But we could also do fun games, guess the movie from the Bad Letterboxd review. Thank you. We could have dispatches from film premieres and other notable events. There's lots of really interesting space to play here. Next slide, please. This is a timeline of all the notable movies that are coming out this year, and so it would inform the kinds of content that we would be talking about. And I like the idea of juxtaposing some of these films against each other because I like the idea of a bad double feature. Thank you. I think that's all my time. Okay. Yeah, well, Brody's got it. Any questions from the audience, please?
Differentiate your series from anything that someone could create like online or individually in a YouTube video. Like I'm trying to figure out the appeal of your content over like going to another platform. And I'm not asking that question out of I want to hear what you've planned to like what would make this so much better than you know, some other intellectual video essay online.
No, thank you for the question. I completely get it. The online space is saturated with film analysis and content for people to like latch onto. Micro celebrities and independent people just doing their own thing on YouTube. I would like to utilize RMITV's resources and the university's resources to develop a series where we utilize the written reviews content and work that into our television network as well, or our streaming content. Because I think it's a no-brainer that we have these TV studios. We have this arm of RMITV that publishes written reviews. Why aren't these two things working closely together? That's my thinking. Yeah, thank you. Next question.
Oh, sorry.
Nick.
I think
You're on the side, Mickey. Just
I threw on the black leather jacket. I think she had her hand up.
Got
Oh,
a
it's
mic
okay. I
here.
think it's
Got a
okay.
mic here. Anyone take it?
there are too many indecisive members that.
I'm so sorry. This might come across as a very silly question, considering I'm still just kind of a novice here. I was wondering if, for the hosting position, would a teleprompter be involved? Would they have to read in front of a teleprompter?
For sure. I do imagine there to be some pre-written components of the show. The host and guests would need to work together to figure out discussion points, as well as an introductory set, welcome to the show, here is a funny joke kind of thing.
Okay.
And those sorts of key talking points or discussion topics would be on a teleprompter fed through so that the host can stay on topic and move on to the next when their time is done.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think you... Oh, okay.
Just real quick. I know you want to stay away from that sort of man cave podcasting, but I'm just asking, would it be would you have a podcast version of the show maybe? Because it is 30 minutes, and I'm just wondering visually how that might be engaging. Because don't get me wrong, I love Amy Poehler's Good Hang. I watched the YouTube videos, but sort of just what you plan on doing for this production.
Yeah, of course. Having a podcasting arm is, again, another no-brainer. It would be really easy just to rip the audio from the episode and create a standalone podcast feed, either through the same YouTube distribution method for the show, because I imagine primary distribution on RMITV's YouTube channel. A pictureless feed so that you can listen to it on YouTube or YouTube Music, or an RSS feed. Yeah.
More questions?
Would you mainly be focusing on new releases or really new films, or would you be interested in incorporating student level reviews or even just independent Australian cinema?
That is also a great question. I have this timeline of notable releases, but that doesn't mean that that's the episode structure. I haven't booked the studio yet. I don't know what day we're filming on. It would matter when we're able to start the first episode and what films are coming out. And if there's no interesting releases because it's been a week since the last blockbuster movie, we would need to tap another well of discussion points. So yeah, we could, there would be, there's the Raiders of the Lost Ark anniversaries coming up. That's another point. So it would not just be new or notable releases, but anything that if an in-reviews writer is I wanted to review this comedy from the 90s and how well it held up, that would be a great thing to tie into the show. And if I was able to land some indie Australian directors or people from the film circuit, I would love to have them on to talk about either their work or a contemporary's work. So, I have not decided on a content schedule yet for this program, but yes, thank you.
Any other questions at all? If we have time, Jazz.
Fine.
Cool. I got one here and another one there.
Would you work with the existing in-review writers for guests on the show?
Yes, that is my primary target for guests of the show. I know that a lot of writers would be reticent to appear on camera for their own reason. There's a reason why they're in written reviews rather than in on-screen appearances. And so I would not begrudge anybody who said no to an invitation. But that is my, when I had the germ of this idea, it was two people who had written for in reviews talking about their reviews for the show. And then commitment from hosts and talent for RMIT TV productions is hard to nail down. Crew, we're all students, you're all students. Things come up and people are not available. What I would like to nail down is one regular host that is committed to being there every week, and guests would be from in reviews or indie filmmakers and such.
You mostly answered it with that question, but I think, yeah, my only concern with having in-review writers would be like, yeah, that availability aspect and how willing they would be to be on camera. So I suppose, do you have like a bank of like available indie filmmakers, actors, editors that would be willing to step in if required, or yeah, and also the with the in-review writers, would you sort of be open to like talking to like in-review about like having in-review write multiple articles on the same film to get a better bank of actor guests for each episode? So say like if you did an episode on, like, because it's hot right now, the Odyssey, like would you want multiple people who have written about the Odyssey to come on, or just any in-review writer, and sort of how would you put that question forward? Yeah.
That is a great pitch for an episode. Because I imagine the bulk being like 2 7-minute segments each, where you've got one person who expands on their written piece, and a second guest would add to it or comment on it and bring up, or like in the same way that Margaret and David sort of had their back and forths about things they liked and disliked. That's what I'm picturing. Now that you mention it, I love the idea of 2 different reviewers coming at the same film from their different perspectives to generate more things to talk about in a productive and constructive way, obviously. But yeah, the first part of your question, review writers, they're in the lane that they are because they want to write and not necessarily appear on camera, which is what occurred to me and why I decided to expand it out to other guests. I don't have a lot of contacts myself, but I worked on a web series last year called Short Circuit with Patrick Scott, who I would reach out to find out how he developed his contact list. And I would maybe need a production manager who would be able to manage all the contacts and emails and organize who is available and when, so that we can draft up, okay, who's actually on each episode. Yeah. More questions? Sorry, are we out of time? Yeah.
If you do have, yeah. Oh, I don't know. Should we vote? How loud is the music? I mean, in a perfect world, yeah, no music, but shared space. If you guys do have any questions that you really do want to ask Jared or any other pitchers, like, I'm sure there'll be time after when we're wrapping up, like, if you do want to ask anything. I'm sorry, I know I have to, like, cut it off. I also, you're free. Oh, round of applause. I did also get a little carried away in the beginning and forgot to actually talk about the feedback form. So, yes, I'm sure if you all have a booklet, you can see big old QR codes. If you don't have to do it right now, but maybe after, once you've like simmered on it, or if you want to get cracking on it, so fine. Just, yeah, it's got like a sort of ranking 1 to 5 based on sort of like the way that we review content. And then also like notes if you want to write anything specific or specific feedback. That would just be so helpful in like gauging which pitches we progress with, because all of your feedback is invaluable. So we're going to move on to the next one. So Annabelle with Dolled Up. Thanks, girl.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to apologize for how pink this presentation is. Yes, very sorry. It is very, very pink. Didn't take that into account. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Annabelle. So my pitch for tonight is Dolled Up, a 6-episode web series. So let's get into it. Okay. So a quick description: a web series satirical talk show starring Tilly, a fashion doll come to life. Since gaining consciousness, Tilly has had an insatiable hunger for knowledge regarding everything about humans, and food, weirdly, because she's never had to eat before. Follow along as our favorite fashion doll flexes those interviewing skills and brand new joints as she meets everyday people. Oh, it's not on me. Okay. Everyday people to learn about what makes humans human. Sure, she may still be made of 100% plastic, but she's still out there asking the real questions. Okay, so basically, it's Barbie but Philomena Kunk. Very, how should I describe this? She's the epitome of there's no stupid questions, but there are very much stupid questions. Okay, proposed structure, 6 episodes, 10 minutes each. Different interviewee every episode, questions presented in an earnest but uninformed way, aka stupid questions, while being 100% serious. Interviewees do not know the questions beforehand, but will be instructed prior to respond to the best of their ability. And there's also a short fashion segment where Tilly shows off her thrifted outfit in the very beginning, because after all, she is a fashion doll. Okay, so meet Tilly. Tilly is a charming, albeit ditzy young woman who is, like the rest of us, trying her very best to make sense of the imperfect world around her. But can she really truly fit into the human world without compromising herself? Casting is open to all genders, ethnicities, and backgrounds, and we can obviously always change the name, because, you know. Inspiration, so Nathan For You, Legally Blonde, very weird mix, I know, but very important people, which is this is heavily inspired on. Philomena Kunk, obviously, In Between Two Ferns, Barbie, specifically Barbie Life in a Dream House, and Ariel, a little fish out of the water. No fish? Look at that. Okay, our target audience, obviously, this is really specific. Anybody can watch it, but it's femme presenting, aged 18 to 25, passionate about comedy and contemporary upcycle fashion. Also, real quick, just back to the Tilly thing. She is supposed to serve as an inspirational figure, real believer in no stupid questions, blah, 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 unapologetically earnest, passionate, and loud personality-wise, as is this presentation. I'm sorry, again. Okay, project scope. So I know this sounds unrealistic, but ideally under a week, 2 episodes filmed per day over 3 days. If this sounds unrealistic, talk to me after. I will convince you, trust me. Okay, crew maximum, that is wrong, maximum 15 crew members, excluding a reoccurring host and also our different interviewee every episode. Budget is actually much under $1,000 because I figured out that we don't have to pay for equipment. So yay! Okay, it should probably be around 400 to 600, but it's mainly for catering. So ignore the equipment bit. Next up. Okay, production timeline. This is all made up, but ideally everything would happen under 2 months. I think I would probably allow a little bit more time, maybe half a month for editing, post-production, but it's mostly, I would like to secure all of the guests first, because I've had experiences finding volunteers, and it's not fun. So mostly pre-production and post-production, but again, production should ideally be under a week. Okay, crew members. So I think it's very standard. I think we have to double up on editors. Social media is pretty important, and also camera operators. But again, this is, just so you know, location will be where, around. There's no, set or anything. But yes, thank you. Call-outs will be posted around campus before social media to give RMIT students, a head start on applications. Yes, okay. Equipment list, forget it, go on. So sample questions, close your eyes, everybody close your eyes. Okay, imagine, okay? So the interviewee is a 56-year-old middle-aged woman who has owned a cafe in Melbourne for 12 years. So imagine, is cafe short for cafeteria, or is cafeteria long for cafe? The average longevity of independent cafes in Melbourne are 3 to 5 years. What made you decide not to do that? Your cafe is pet-friendly. What about horses? That's it. Thank you. Open your eyes. Okay, hang on. One last thing. Key message. Despite desperately wanting to be part of the human community, Tilly does not abandon her existing values. Her bubbly personality perseveres despite the cynical, realistic world around her. This program explores self-discovery, societal expectations, and individuality. It aims to inspire hope and entertain audiences during trying times. The fashion segment also promotes a more sustainable clothing practice. Okay, that is it. Thank you. Questions? Questions? No questions. Wow. Oh, yes. Okay.
Would the interviewees, are they
actually like real people, or you're giving them characters that they are playing?
Right, right. Okay, great question. For anyone who's like familiar with Philomena Kung's work, the Kung series, they will be real people. Again, we will probably brief them ahead of time. Like, questions are gonna get weird, just sort of go along with it, hopefully. But yeah, so they definitely will be real people. And we'll be talking about like real human personal stories, because you know, the whole point of it is to, I feel a lot of programs these days, they go a little bit broad with like people's experiences. They interview a bunch of people about like an overarching topic, but this one is about, I want to hear about a 56-year-old like cafe owner, you know, and like her journey and her life and everything. So yeah, yes, thank you.
Hi, do you have experience working on a shoot with that short of a timeline and that is that ambitious?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because, okay, well, a bit about me. I've been acting professionally for the past 2 years. I've been a part of a lot of like smaller scale projects. I know what can be done. I know that seems a little bit unrealistic, but I assure you, it's been done before. I've done it before. It can work. And also, ideally, I did put it under a week because I think for continuity-wise, because she's a doll, we want her to be perfect and exact. So just for like hair and makeup, it's probably for the best. But yes, thank you. Yes. Is there a reason it's that short? Oh yes, what I just said. But also, I don't know. I think because I'm trying to prioritize pre-production and post-production. Because pre-production, again, finding guests is like a big thing. I think that will probably take a while. And post-production, I think editing is going to be a big part of it. Social media is going to be definitely a big part of it because it is a web series. And on that, actually, distribution, YouTube, Instagram Reels, TikTok. So, like, it's kind of, that's my priority. That's where my priority lies. But yes, thank you. Yeah. Hey.
Hello.
Yeah.
Do you have like a design in mind?
Ooh, yeah, no, sorry, I know I'm saying great question to everyone. They are great questions. They're great questions. Okay, well, generally, I don't know, not really like the body type or anything, because I want to keep it really open. Doesn't really matter. I think, honestly, as long as we have anyone who's like, I'm mainly prioritizing the acting and like sort of like that bubbly personality, but like 100% we're so open to like all ethnicities, and like I don't want to get too hyper specific about it. And also style-wise, I think we'll go different every episode. Like, you know, we'll try to like do, and also it won't be pink. It won't be this pink. I promise. I promise. This was incredibly misleading. Yes, pink is fine, but it's very Barbie, and we're trying to stay away from copyright. Yeah. Wait, Darcy?
Hi. How are you going to go about choosing and recruiting the people you're going to be interviewing?
I'm glad you asked that. Yes,
you're very welcome.
Again. Well, okay, I think, because I've done call-outs before, they're not super effective. I think what would be the best course of action is actually doing, not really cold emails, because trust me, I've tried to look for jobs, it's not great, but I think just going to like cafes, for example, or like going to like, I don't know, like going to a construction site or something and be like, hey, are you down to just, because some people might be down, you never know. And I think, honestly, that's probably the most convenient and like the quickest way you can probably find people. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I was actually just saying to Corinne, your baby cousin could be a guest. I would love that. That would be fun. That would be different. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Where does like inspiration come from? Because I feel like it's such a unique idea. Like
Thank you. You hear that, guys? Hear that? Yes. Well, it was mainly from, I guess, the vision board. There was the very important people thing. And I don't know, I was watching the World Cup and I got bored. And I was like, you know, I could really use some Barbie right now. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Did you know that in November, Melbourne Museum is going to do a Barbie exhibition?
Oh my God, that would be great for inspiration. I will bring my camera, my notebook. I will jot stuff down. Thank you for letting me know. Yes. Hi. Yeah. Yeah, she is such a character. Yeah. 100%. Oh. Okay. Okay, well, I have, well, as I previously mentioned, I have acted, I know actors, so I do have people in mind that I can ask, but yeah, I've casted people before. I think I can probably figure that out, so I think it's okay. And I think, honestly, anyone who's like open, because she needs to be really funny. So yeah, so like just like anyone who's like into improv and like just, it's general casting call. That's our like first step, obviously, and I think we just like figure it out from there, honestly. Yeah, sorry.
This isn't so much of a question.
Yes.
But do you know Z-Way?
No.
So this is a very similar vibe to Z-Way. So she's got this like YouTube show, and she gets like guests like Chet Hanks. And it's really funny because she's got that kind of style where she kind of plays, like she doesn't play dumb, but she like asks these questions that kind of puts the people on the spot, and it's really funny. So, and she's also got incredible fashion, so I think
We should hire her. I'll send an email.
But I think with that show, what works really well is they're not everyday people.
Right.
Often those people, they're not quick.
Yeah.
And so it can fall a bit flat. So do you have like an idea for people? Yes, you would have that you know for certain they would play without it touching icky, if that makes sense?
Well, I think our guests will probably, it'll mainly be volunteer based, and it's fine if they're really not, because I mean, for example, inspiration, Nathan, for you, those are sort of like normal day people. And you never really know, sometimes they might like pull a joke and you're just like, oh my God, you're like a hidden gem. You should be on TV, you know? But I think, well, it's definitely, we'll have to rely on the host a little bit, and we'll probably try to prompt them a little bit, but like at the end of the day, I think I'm prioritizing the personal stories thing and like the more human part, because it is quite human to not be funny. I've done that, yeah, so yeah, I think it's pretty normal. Yes, sorry. Yeah, yes.
Hi, the one thing that I think I would need some clarification on is you've got inspiration set as kind of Barbie and Wilhelmina Kunk, which they are very different inspirations, because I feel like Barbie is a very bubbly woman who is kind of at times like, it kind of sounds like we're relying on her being a bit of an airhead or not really understanding things quite properly, which I'm wondering, like with the, I don't know, how do you kind of plan to make, you know, this character not seem, you know, like I think it can almost come across if you're doing very short, you know, intermission, very short episodes, right? And you've got her being a bubbly person who is also not understanding social cues around her and kind of being like this airhead. I think it could possibly come across as almost a little bit of like we're laughing at her, not with her. Yeah. And I think Wilhelmina Kunk is also a very different situation because she is not the beauty standard. She is not the, I think that the thing that makes her funny is also that she says things so plainly and things that are not supposed to be said, but you know she's an educated woman. Yeah. So I'm wondering how you're going to proceed in the episodes and give this character some more depth or some more feeling so that we know we're not laughing at her, we're laughing with her.
I'm actually really glad you said that, because I think as the episodes progress, I think, because she really just gained consciousness. She's like a day old. Yeah, so like I wouldn't be, but I think about her being an airhead, I wouldn't really say she's an airhead. I think she gives off more of a vibe of the Barbie 2023 stereotypical Barbie. Like she's still smart in her own right, but like she doesn't know specific things almost. Yeah, but I think more about Philomena Kunk, I think it's more about her delivery and not so much like her vibe, because she can get a little bit like, you know, well, a little bit more defensive than I think Barbie would. But yeah, definitely less of an airhead. Because again, we don't want people laughing at her. Or they could, you know, I mean, depends on you, I guess. But yeah, 100%. I think that depends on character work, and that's something host dependent. That's something we can definitely discuss, but that's a development kind of thing. But thank you. Yes.
Sorry, guys. Yes. I'm gonna run.
So sorry. I'll come find you.
Come find.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great job, everybody. Oh, hello. Next up, we're going to have Radhika with Connections. Come on down. Sweet.
Hi, everyone. Always a great time to be back. I love RMITV. Not saying that for brownie points at all. But yes, can you see? Can everyone see? Okay, great. So I've had this idea for at least the last 4-5 years, but of course I've not had enough production capacity myself. But yeah, the show is called Connection. We can go forward. Yeah, it's basically like a conversation-led non-fiction show. It's not documentary, but in the sense, the inspiration is Jubilee, Kat, Thoraya, Maronesi, I don't know if you guys know her, Hunter, Prosper, like very human connections. And we basically want to explore this through the lens of Australia's diverse student community. Maybe particularly RMIT, but then still not limiting to RMIT, probably opening it up to UniMelb and the other colleges. Yeah, from moments of joy and grief to love, identity, belonging, fear, hope, basically showing how we're all very different, but we're also, there's something that we relate to within each other, which is what we love about these episodes. The next slide has a lot of media, so it might start playing, so we don't want to play anything. But yeah, this is like basically like the idea that I'm talking about, middle ground from Jubilee, fun formats, for example, like how Cut has fun formats, where you're really connecting with people. I feel like there is a gap in Australia, maybe you can't ask that by on ABC, probably something that does do that really well, but I feel like we can still explore a lot more. Very few places, I mean, there are shows in the US and the UK, but I think Australia can still tap on this. Even places like Singapore, etc., don't have shows like these. So I think these are still very niche. And yeah, we can go forward. Basically, they explore humans being human in a certain way. So here, what Australia has, I feel, more than other countries is at least what I have experienced, because I've traveled a bit, is that there's so much of inclusion here. People are genuinely nice to each other on the street and in cafes, etc. And like there's also like a huge international student community here that we can tap on. And such content is always social media gold. They may seem like serious content, but everyone loves watching these snippets online. Yeah, we can go to the next one. Yeah, why I feel like this works for RMITV, because RMITV, I might be wrong because I'm just, I've just joined this very newly, but I feel like this is something that gives emotional exposure to a lot of the students that might be on the set. This might help them with critical thinking, and we can go to the next one. Critical thinking. It also focuses a lot on what would be engaging online, because everything is online now. Content production. So because we'll be dealing with a lot of different dynamic formats, students will get to engage in that kind of content production across non-fiction storytelling. Fictional storytelling, of course, is fun, but I feel like in non-fiction storytelling, apart from documentary and the general YouTube video content, there's something, there's like an untapped potential even now, like to this date. We can go to the next one. Yeah, I was thinking 8 to 10 minutes, because usually that's what, I mean, these episodes are usually 8 to 10 minutes. They're enough to really go deep. Per format, but I do feel there's a potential here for the longer 25-minute flagship season with different formats into one. Oh shit. Okay, and like a weekly, like maybe I was even thinking like twice a week release if we do 10 minutes, because it is easy. I mean, it is like a sit-down thing, and it's not a lot of moving around. It can be done. Okay, the next one. Yeah, the segments, call them, just like for an example, have you told someone, what they mean to you? The distance call, because we are quite far from a lot of places, and international communities also really far from each other. The next segment. Yeah, try it on camera. These are the fun parts that I wanted to talk about. The next one. an on the fence structured debate, basically like how important is it to stay apolitical, and then a person will be either on the fence or not on the fence, and then have a discussion right there. Are unpaid internships justified? We can go to the next one. So this show would have a consent process. Yeah, that's all right. That's okay.
Oh yeah, good job, great job. If anyone does have any questions, like we pull up the slides, so don't even stress. But yes, we'll move on to Q&A.
I was just looking at the examples you were kind of
Yeah.
giving of Jubilee and Cut, and especially the kind of debate section, and those have a tendency to get quite intense in a way that can be kind of negative, and potentially really, like, you know, I don't think I need to say it too much, what I mean there.
Yeah.
How do you think, like, how will you go about ensuring that if you are doing that debate section, for example, that it stays a safe environment for the participants and no one gets too, like, you know, says something that could actually upset someone, like, genuinely?
Yeah, that's actually one of the first things I thought about while I was thinking about this, and it's there on the other slides as well. There will be a proper consent process because we want people to be comfortable with what they say, and yet we know that this is for student community television, so we will not be putting people in an uncomfortable spot unless it's like we're opening that episode up for Melbourne to come and then actually come and debate if there's a possibility. Otherwise, we'll try to keep things safe. For example, are unpaid internships justified? This is why I wrote a certain. I wrote a certain kind of topic is because I feel like these kind of topics are easy to talk about. No one's getting hurt here, and some people do think that it's good for the experience, but some people are against that. So choosing topics that are safe, having a strong consent process, and keeping the participant always in the loop that if they're ever uncomfortable, they can choose to step out. Yeah.
I'm too dignified to run.
Thank you. Your aura is unmatched. Okay, yes, quick question. Just like, for example, the examples that you gave, I feel they tend to run a little bit long. So I'm just worried about, like, how would you condense that into, because what's the episode length?
8 to 10 minutes. Usually 10 minutes.
Or
yeah.
the segment or the whole?
The whole episode is usually 10 minutes.
Right.
If it is ever, if there is a possibility of a longer one, then having 3 different formats in one particular episode. But usually, if we want to do just one episode, like how the channels usually do, just one format per episode.
Oh, so like one segment per episode?
Yeah, one segment per episode.
All right, so like audiences tuning in, they would would they know like what?
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're very different.
So this is primarily, yes, of course, for, TV, but it's also a lot for YouTube, a lot for TikTok and Instagram, and these have their own separate pages as well. Like we did for Fishing Fulla, we had a separate page. So audience knows they're always in the loop. Okay, one episode per week. They'll know. Okay, what is coming this week? What is the episode on connections this week? Audience is smart enough to understand that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
First, I want to say great pitch. What really stood out to me was sort of the international student focus, and that first slide where it was like a long distance phone call and things like that. Is there a reason why you didn't focus on that rather than, because in the other slides you had like the more controversial takes? Is there a reason why you weren't going more into that first?
I didn't go into that first because I didn't have time.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd quickly go through all of the segments. And also the third one, I feel because it is controversial, it could be perceived as controversial. It needs a little more explaining. Whereas Call Them is very heartwarming. Everyone finds it super engaging. Everyone got it. Like, that's why I didn't explain it. But that's why Call Them was like the first segment, because I think that can be super heartwarming. It can be filmed on behind Building 9. It can be filmed on Flagstaff Gardens. It need not be filmed in a studio like how people usually do it. You can even have people write anonymous letters, not just call people. So the first segment is basically like a very heartwarming conversation.
And when you say segment, do you mean episode, or it'll be one episode and those 3 things in?
Right now, I'm thinking a single segment is an episode, so it's one episode. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that first approach is the stronger approach.
Yeah.
So, but it's up to you
Yeah.
how you want to.
Yeah.
Create that.
First approach, as in.
The more heartwarming.
Yeah. 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 Definitely. Makes sense.
I just wanted to ask, I guess it's the question I've been asking kind of everyone, when there's a strong inspiration from things that have been pulled from YouTube, I guess what makes your pitch different to something that I might just look up on YouTube or click on YouTube? Like, what's the appeal? I think there is appeal already from everything you've said, just to be clear. But
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I know that I don't want to do something that's already been done, but there's like if there's something like this, a format like this short, we already know it's going to be engaging online. I am an advertising person, so I know that it's going to be that audiences are going to love something like this. What is different is that it has a take on the student community here, particularly. It's not just for general audiences may not see themselves in it, but they'll still watch because of how heartwarming it is. But it is particularly based around the diverse student community and in such a multicultural land. Like we have people from so many different cultures here. So I think that's the biggest thing here. And we can also innovate our formats. I'm not hell-bent on these kind of formats. We can, during the writer's room, we can check what could be fun formats that we could do per show. That could be human-based and connection-based, but we want to keep things different, but we want to keep things centric on the student community as well. Yeah.
Who's next? Raise your hand.
Yeah, fantastic pitch, Radhika. I really enjoyed it. Do you have a vision for the production timeline? Is this like a weekly production, or is this something you do kind of whenever people are available?
So the first few weeks is going to be separate because it's -3, -2, -1 week, and then the rest of the production goes on. But for example, research is going to be a big part of this show because we want to know something that can be nuanced and yet not hurt people as well. So research is going to be big here. What do people want to see online as well? What do people want to talk about? What are some things that are trending that can be talked about in episodes? And the writing process is also going to be something that's going to be done in the first few weeks. And the distribution strategy as well, like what platforms can we market this on, because this has the potential to reach people, in my opinion. And consent as well. But apart from that, week per week, we can shoot, I feel like we can shoot 2 episodes in a week because those are easy to shoot segments. They are not a lot of moving around. They're centered on maybe 2 seats at best, 3 seats, and a few people. We can think about a host that is hosting these particular segments to bring it all together, but I was thinking a week-by-week process after the first few weeks of research and consent taking, call-outs, all of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Any more questions, comments?
Awesome. Hope everyone's feeling still as equally pumped as the beginning. We're making our way through. I'd like to invite Nicholas to come up for Pop Cult. If I get a round of applause. Sorry, I know your hands hurt. I know.
Hello there. My name is Nicholas Garner. And I'm what you might call a Renaissance man. Now, tonight, I'm pleased to present an all new show concept that I would proudly like to call Pop Cult, as you can see there. Now, just a disclaimer, like, it had all these cool fonts and everything when I was making it, but when it was exported, it kind of messed things up, and so you just have to deal with that. Now, before I begin, this is my very first attempt at the pitch. Though I have a very full understanding of my creative vision, Information related to timeline and budgets may be a little bit confusing to wrap my head around, though I've tried my very best to explain those assets of information. Please understand that I may need advice on the technical side of things in order to fully take advantage of television production in the best possible way. Now, those are one of the, Now, I'll just describe what it's meant to say. Pop Cult presents the latest news in pop culture in movies, television, and music in the distinct style of the 1970s. Its genre will be entertainment news with a distinct retro flair, as well as potential satirical comedy sprinkled in. The ideal format will be 30 minutes of a flagship show, though it wouldn't be too fast for a web series either. But flagship show is my main goal. The synopsis is this. In the AI age, Upcult aims to bring back the excitement of the analog style approach and the overall human feel of the news that we crave most. Popular culture in all forms that is presented in the lens of the 1970s. Through both the aesthetic and the audio, and through the host's distinct personality, the show will present movies that are both still in development and already in theaters, TV shows and specials that are just begging for your attention. Before concluding with new discoveries in the world of music and the top 5 singles in Australia. The movie and streaming charts are also set to be featured as well. This is a show you won't want to miss. This is sort of my mood board for the overall aesthetic of the series, as you can see. That sort of neon colors and video feedback and just that unique style that defined the 70s. Now, and there's one more mood board like that. The tone comparison will be this. The show will have a similar visual feel to that of the early mid-70s era of the music program Top of the Pops on BBC, as well as the late 70s Countdown on ABC television, while also keeping with the simpler feel of 70s era community television. The tone of the production really speaks for itself. It's a show that never takes itself too seriously, but it's also always proud to bring you the latest in pop culture in its own unique and groovy way. Now, here's some technical stuff here. Now, it's not intended to be a narrative story. The idea is that it's presenting pop cultural news in a studio setting. Thusly, we can expect that filming will only take 1 to 2 days, though there's plenty of planning in the weeks before it. The timeline for the project is feasible. In the week or two before filming, research for news and entertainment is necessary in order to provide a script and storyboards with the information, and with camera work and the transitions and flourishes as well. This will be shown and explained to the crew working on the show before filming begins. Now, at least 6 to 7 crew members are needed for the production. Some necessary needed crew members for Pop Cult are planned to be fulfilled through the following members that will be hired. These include the production designer, for in charge of the art department, working with the main director and director of photography, the producer, hiring crew members and securing funding and overseeing the project, the first and the second assistant directors for the shooting schedule, safety protocols and departments, and crew to keep, sort of lumped it in there, but I'm glad you're paying attention. And talent, who is actually hosting the show. Next slide. We also have the executive producer providing the finance and creative input, and help also with their credibility and resources to help that project get made. The director of photography, which is responsible for recording all the necessary footage in line with the director's vision, while decisions about the lighting, camera movement, and exposure are also made to help with the production's visual language. Of course, we've got to have the camera operators too, like physical cameras and DOP's vision and everything. And of course, we have the director. He basically has a creative vision the tone and the pacing for the performances, sound, visuals. At least for the first season of Hop Cult, the amount of money that we need for the production should at least be $2,500 if it's a flagship show, or $1,350 if it's an instead of a web series. Now, are there any questions for you all?
Believe me, nobody loves this idea more than I do. I'm like a dinosaur. I do have a question though, just to be clear. When you say 1 to 2 days, like I'm assuming that's 1 to 2 days for the entire run, not 1 to 2 days per episode, right?
Well, 1 to 2 days is like, well, to fulfill our main goal of providing the latest news, like in an episode, like it takes 1 to 2 days to do like a single episode for movies, entertainment, and movies, television, and music, and thusly we have to repeat the process for each and every episode in order to provide the most accurate and newest information. Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Yeah, I did have a question. Thanks. Just jumping in. I was just sort of curious on what role that you were interested in playing, like in the production, because I know you mentioned not having as much technical experience. So I was curious what you wanted to do.
Well, if you'll just go back a few slides, back there, there. Now, one of the ideas that I have for myself is to actually direct the production myself, be the executive producer, and maybe be the talented host. Though I wouldn't be unhappy with hiring someone to be the director or technical producer or talent or whatever. I wouldn't be fussed with that too. But those are just the roles that I've considered myself to fit best in. Yeah?
I'm sorry if I missed it at the start, but how would you dictate what gets on the show? Like what's pop culture enough? Like is it recent, like what comes out that week, or will you have like a band of researchers?
Well, it is good to have it is good to have old stuff in there too. But the main goal is to provide the newest information. So it is through the fact that we provide the latest like movies, television, music, and stuff. I mean, if we could put old stuff in there too, that would be great. But that's not the current goal as of now. But maybe it'll do well enough so we can add it as part of the format as well. Yeah?
Thank you. I was just wondering, is the host kind of included in that 70s aesthetic? Like they're going to look like they've just stepped right out of the 70s? Is that the plan? Cool. I just want to double check.
I mean, it's an easy answer. I mean, it's an easy question, but it's true. It's an easy answer as well. Like it will look like that the host will be stepped out of the 70s, like to keep that sort of aesthetic unity alive, you know.
All right, wonderful. I'd like to invite Abigail up with So You Think You're a Filmmaker.
Hi everyone, I'm Abigail Liptrot-Splain, or you can call me Abby, and I'm pitching So You Think You're a Filmmaker. I've just realised I've messed up a little bit. This was an old Cryptids Anonymous pitch, and I've left some of it on here. It is not a 15-minute short film. It is a 25-minute flagship, but 8 episodes. So just to be clear, that is what this is. So the idea is that it will be a short film competition-style show where every week 2 teams of filmmakers are pitted head-to-head to complete a short film. So as you see, that's the kind of thing. It seeks to challenge RMITV's really genuinely talented group of community of filmmakers. I've worked on so many shows, and I've seen how genuinely talented the crew and RMITV members can be. So that's what I want to kind of highlight with this show. The idea will be that each week they will receive, there will be 2 teams. They are the same teams across the whole season. Each week they will receive either a prompt, like a word such as like late, or a challenge, like please film this on your, like on a phone, and they have to make a 1 to 3 minute short film. We'll have a panel of judges who will judge each week, and then the team with the most points by the end of the season will be given the coveted title of Filmmakers, a Golden Camera Trophy, not to be confused with the Camera d'Or, which I discovered from Cairns, which I discovered while researching means Camera of Gold. Who knew that? Not me, certainly. And if allowed and approved by RMITV, $500 of the budget would actually go towards a grant that at the end of the season, the filmmakers would be given to produce a short film of their own to put towards film festivals. That is only if approved, because I know that there's a lot of like legal stuff that would have to be sorted with that. So if not, that will just go to other production budget stuff. Next slide, please. So the segments will be in segment 1. Also ignore the cryptids again, sorry guys. In segment 1, it'll be an introduction of the show by the host. They will introduce the prompt or challenge for the week, and then there will be showcasings of short little vlogs that the filmmakers will have made during their thing. Those will be edited by a separate editor, so the filmmaker editor does not have to worry about it. But they're to show like what the challenges for that week were for those team members. Then in segment 2, the host will interview a member of each of the teams. The goal is the teams are about 8 members long, so over the 8 episode season, every member will be interviewed once. However, if one of the one of the filmmaker people aren't interested in being interviewed, a different member can take on that role. So they can be interviewed more than once. And then finally in segment 3, we will actually show the short films, and then the panel of judges will explain their decision and will award the point for that week. Thank you. There's a few different groups of crew in this show. It's a very wide crew, a lot of roles available for people. Pre-production will be the producers and a small group of writers just writing out the introduction, figuring out the prompts, stuff like that. Pretty simple stuff. Also like questions and things they want to ask. Then we have the filmmaker teams. They are 2 teams of 8 members. It's roughly 6 to 8 members. As I've said, I have a director, a writer, preferably 2 camera operators, a lighting tech, audio tech, editor, and production assistant. However, you could cut that down to 1 camera operator and then make the audio and lighting tech 1 person, if we need to. So yeah, I've said that. There will also be a shared pool of 5 to 6 actors that the short filmmakers can draw upon each week, as they please. Then we'll have the in-studio team who actually film the flagship section of the show. They are a completely different group. We don't have any crossover, just to make sure that no one is over budgeting themselves. Okay, great. I'll skip through the logistics pretty quickly. They'll have structured weeks. They'll have a week. It'll be the week before the episode is filmed, so that the short films are completely done before they even step foot in studio. And yeah, I can go into that later if people want. And then budget, $2,000 overall. Most of that is for the catering, I mean. If that sounds ambitious, in terms of, sorry, let me rephrase. Studio gets a certain amount of the catering, and then each filmmaker team will also have a set amount of catering each week. If that sounds ambitious, on the last 2 shows I've done, I went $500 under the catering budget both times. So I know how to make this work, trust me. And then there will also be a production budget of about, each team gets $100 across the season, and then whatever's left goes towards general production. And the $500 grant, if approved, comes from those 2. Any space made, it's on the board if you want to know more. And benefits to RMITV, it will be a great show. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of creativity involved, and yeah, that's it.
Hello, love the pitch. I'm very curious about what the criteria for judging the films will be. Have you thought much about that?
I haven't gone into it too much. It would mostly be, there'd be kind of probably like 3 kind of criteria. like a technical level of how well they, went with each team will have the same equipment, so it's how well they're using the equipment that week. A creative one of how well they actually engage with the prompt. Like if you had the prompt late, was the one I had as an example. One might do like, oh, they're running late for school, and then the other one would be like, their period's late, and this actually is the 2 minutes of them waiting for their pregnancy test. Like that sounds like a bit more creative engagement with the prompt. That would probably get them more judging. And then finally, just kind of generally like, was it actually a good short film? Because you can have a really creative short film that's really technical, and it's kind of boring to watch. So those kind of 3 criteria, but that would be shared with the judges closer to the actual timeline so that judges know what they're kind of ranking on and they're not just making it up.
Thank you. I just want to ask, like, how would you go about, like, looking for judges? Like, what kind of, like, criteria would you look for?
Yeah. So judges, I'm thinking there'd probably be about 3 of them, is kind of what I'm thinking. I think that's a good number. Everyone likes a 3. Probably, they'd all be RMITV members, but I know there's a lot of RMITV members who have actually gone on to do a lot of work outside of RMITV. So they're kind of the people I'd, like, really trying to pitch it to and be like, please, we'd love to have you as a judge. Because I think then they'll have a bit more experience in knowing how to judge something. Like our filmmakers, I want to be kind of medium level RMITV people. They've got some experience, but not like a crazy amount. Judges, I want to have a bit more experience just so they, you're really being judged by someone that actually knows what they're talking about and you don't feel like they're just judging you on nothing. I did have the idea that maybe one judge each week would be a different member of the studio crew, just to give it a bit of variety, but that would depend on how the studio crew is actually feeling, like just a vibes check basically on if that would actually be a good idea or not. But it could be cool to be judged by someone from the studio crew, but it might make people very uncomfortable. So we'll figure out based on the vibes check on that one.
Yeah. On what is the audience is actually seeing at home, the final episode, do you imagine that the filmmaking process will be recorded and presented in some way, or is that, or are we only going to see judges talking with the filmmakers and then the short films?
Yeah, so the idea is in segment 1, that little vlog I mentioned, both teams, probably most likely the production assistant will, whenever possible, be filming little clips from the team. Maybe if something goes horribly wrong, you get like that little like talking head of the person being like, oh my God, how are we going to fix this kind of thing? Then all of that footage, hopefully quite a lot, will go towards a different member of the studio crew who will actually edit all of that together so that there will be like 2 to 3 minute vlogs for each week from both teams. And so they are shown in segment 1 after the introduction.
I was wondering, do you kind of see this as like a kind of like a comedy? Like, how are you planning on editing it? I'm wondering like episode by episode, because I know it's going to be kind of like vlog style, but I'm thinking when you're in post, is this going to be like, are we going to be like, is this kind of like a, I don't know, kind of like a hero's journey of like, oh, they've finally like made the thing and like we should all be like, so is it going to be heartwarming? Like, is it different each episode? What's your thought?
I think I would lean more towards that kind of like hero's journey. They're very much like a MasterChef style, kind of, not actually MasterChef, but like, any kind of competition style of a show where you learn about the people as you go, you start to get genuinely attached to the people, you want to see them succeed. Like it'll be heartfelt in that it will actually be genuine. It's not going to be like, oh my God, look at how bad this episode, like this short film went. If someone's short film went bad that week, I want people to actually feel genuinely sad and be like, I can't wait to see how well they do next week. Like that's the goal. I really want the filmmakers to become people that you root for and you really want to see them succeed. That's the goal. It's not to be like laugh at any mistakes. It's to can't wait to see how people improve across the season. Yeah.
Other questions?
All the way back.
Loved your pitch. Just a follow-up question to that previous one. So people usually get attached because, there are eliminations that happen each episode, or like there's something that happens where the stakes are really high. So since I just wanted to know how you're thinking of exploring that in this particular platform.
Mostly the stakes will be raised just by the prompts and challenges getting trickier. Like, I think it will start with just general word prompts to get creativity flowing, and then I want it to become really genuinely technical challenges. Like, as the filmmakers improve, they become more and more capable of engaging with the challenge. So the stakes are risen by the technical challenge of making the short film in such a short time. Like, a week is really short. I don't know if anyone's tried to make a short film in a week. That's not much time. So that's where the stakes rise, but as they get better at it, we up the ante even more.
From a game design perspective, you mentioned that it would be kind of who got the most points at the end of the season. What do you do if one team is just really bad and is losing right from the start?
That can definitely happen. I think to try and avoid that, in the application process, we'll be looking for people who have a relatively wide array of work. Like, they won't have just done one RMITV show that was in the studio and then we're expecting to put a camera in their hands and hope they know what they're doing. Like, we want to go for people who have a bit of experience, and maybe some of them have a bit more than others to, like, make sure that we're not just prioritizing, like, people who've already done a bunch. But in terms of if, like, one team's just really struggling, I think it would be a case of, as writers, looking at it and being like, well, this is where their strengths are, and maybe this week we just give them a challenge that's a little more that strength focused. Like, if it's like, oh, they're struggling as a team in a lot of stuff, but they have, like, really funny scripts, let's find a comedy challenge where they can really amp it. So it's not a pity point, but it is showing, okay, this is where your strengths are. How can we emphasize those strengths, if that makes sense? Like, I don't want it to be a pity point where we just like, oh, this week they actually weren't that good, but we're going to say they won. I want them to actually showcase where their strengths are.
Thank you. I'm curious if you've thought about where you're kind of going to look for these filmmaking crews. Like, are you looking at the RMITV, like student cohort? Because my only concern there is that it sounds like a pretty intensive process for these teams to be filming for, like, 4 or 5 weeks in a row around their own schedules.
Yeah. It would be the RMITV members themselves, many of whom are very busy people. I'm well aware of that, which is partly why the schedule, if you wouldn't mind going back, or sorry to kind of go, if it's not possible, don't worry about it. The logistics slide. I've cut it out, so it's like you get stuff here that's like, it's tried to be scheduled out so that even if someone's really busy, they upload like their kind of schedule as it goes, so that we know if, and sorry, how am I phrasing this? They'll upload their schedules and teams will be matched around that schedule. So you won't have a member who's like, oh, I'm never available on the one day we're filming. So that's how you avoid, like, people not being available. But in terms of finding members, it would be RMITV members, specifically preferably members who've done quite a few shows of a wide variety. I know quite a few RMITV members over my time who I know would be capable of this, whereas people who are starting out and want experience can join the studio crew and get experience through that. So it's still a great range for all RMITV members, but the filmmaking crew would most likely be kind of more people who are used to that tight turnaround, who I know can work to it. But yeah, as I said, there is a schedule. It's just kind of long and hard to get into at this time. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to be cruel again. Talk to Abigail after. I'm sure that she'd love to answer any questions. All right. Moving right along, I'd like to invite Laura to talk about Dr. Laura Wants to Solve Your Problems. When we're ready. No, there's no sound. Maybe I can play it off.
Play it off YouTube. That's all right.
Maybe just try here and then I'll see.
Okay. Well, I'll start. I'm tempted to say kia ora, because I used to live in New Zealand. Kia ora. I'm Laura Bruce. Imagine a self-help guru who believes she can solve absolutely any problem on the spot. The catch? She has 0 qualifications. Audience members anonymously submit their real-life dilemmas. She reads them for the first time and immediately prescribes a solution. With flawless logic, absolute confidence, and typically requiring a product. Oh, don't play the thing. I don't want people reading along. Sorry, that's why I said I didn't need the pitch. I was just gonna talk to you guys. No, I don't think you need it to play. Okay. Yeah, that's why we're gonna play the video later. Yeah. She immediately prescribes a solution which uses, with absolute confidence, completely flawed logic, and wherever possible, prescribing a product from her wellness line of products. The series is called Dr. Laura Wants to Solve Your Problems. And I'd like you to meet Dr. Laura. Can you play the video? Oh, there we are. Sorry. Okay. All right. I wanted to introduce you to Dr. Laura from episodes of the live show, which has been produced a number of times already. So what you would have seen would introduce the character of Dr. Laura. She genuinely wants to help, and she's convinced she can. She has 0 self-doubt, 0 self-awareness, and that's where all the trouble and the comedy begins. So it's an audience format, 8-series flagship program, filmed in front of a live studio audience. Begins with an opening monologue, and then the live questions begin from the audience. So these are submitted ahead of time, screened so there's nothing too sensitive, and then she just runs through them. So hopefully 8 to 10 problems solved per episode, and then a closing monologue and Dr. Laura's prescription, organized around 8 different themes across the 8 episodes of the series. So the real engine of this format is the audience, because that means no 2 episodes are ever the same. Because it's a studio audience format, it's ideal for multi-camera production, and it gives students experience across directing, vision switching, camera operation, audio, floor management, editing, and obviously audience coordination. Every recording also creates dozens of short-form social media clips that can help build an audience beyond the broadcast itself. So why RMITV? Well, it's a repeatable entertainment format that gives students practical television experience while developing an original Australian comedy property with proven commercial potential. Thank you. That's it. What questions do you have? Yes.
What's your plan to get an audience into our studios?
I know loads of people.
How many people are you anticipating to have in the audience?
Well, I was thinking 25 to 30 is a manageable amount, especially since we'll be catering.
you might struggle to fit that many people in our studios.
Well, that's great. You tell me how many it fits and I'll fill it.
Like 12.
12, okay. Well, that's all right. 12 is fine, yeah. That gives us variety.
Hello, Dr. Laura. Okay, if I were to propose a make-believe scenario to you right now, could you solve it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just speak up so everybody
I'm
can
just
hear
going to make
you.
one really ridiculous. Okay. I am a school student. Student. School student, scholar. I like to play with rocks, so I'm collecting rocks on my way home, walking home from school. But all of a sudden, I see a dead body, and suddenly a policeman drives by, and I'm a #1 suspect. What do I do?
Well, first of all, you never speak to the police. We all know that. Amen. Never speak to the police. And obviously, this happens mostly to people walking their dogs. They're constantly finding dead bodies. And the first thing you have to do is make sure if you have, don't contaminate the scene, right? Resist the urge to play detective. I would say, play detective because you're going to it's going to be a great story later. And whatever you can do, I would just keep going. The body's already dead. There's nothing you can do. You don't want to be late for school. You'll get in trouble. So just keep going. And maybe once you're on the bus or the tram, make a 999 call or triple zero. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sound good? Yeah. And if you're traumatized, some of Dr. Laura's gut feeling drops can help process that. Question from Tilly.
Hi, I love the idea. Definitely something I would tune into. Just wanted to ask, how do you plan on finding questions, or does it have to be questions?
It's not
specifically?
scripted. It's an improvisational comedy format. Yeah.
So,
So the questions are real questions from the audience.
So from the 12 people.
From the 12 people, we've had in the live show, we've had everything from my flatmate keeps eating the food out of the fridge, but I'm afraid to say anything, to I've got peripheral neuropathy. My mother keeps touching the wait staff. What do I do? I mean, it's some fantastic questions. They're things you couldn't script, and that's what's wonderful about it, because they're real. People are invested in the solutions. And because they're real, they're fascinating, absolutely fascinating.
That's my questions. Okay, thank you.
I don't know.
I actually have. So where's the studio you wanna do the
RMITV studio.
or any particular room in RMITV?
My producer will tell you. A big one. A big one. We need floor cameras. We know all that regular stuff. Anybody else have a problem for Dr. Laura? Just to demonstrate proof of concept. Obviously, we've done 7 live shows, so we know it works. Yes?
Was just wondering whether you'd just considered at all shooting it somewhere else because of the problems that Louis was sort of talking about in terms of getting crowds in and out of this. We know from past experience it's a real restriction, it's a real difficulty here. So are there other alternatives in terms of doing it perhaps at a comedy club and doing it on location there instead?
Absolutely. There are suitable comedy clubs, and they've already got audience seating and lighting and all those things. The problem is the studio cameras. That would be the trick. And if you want the actual experience of, floor operations, you need the floor. You need to be able to move the proper camera around. So ideally, we'd be able to do it in a proper studio, even if it is small. Yes?
Love the setup.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Love the vision. What are your products? What are you offering me?
We've got one in the pitch deck. There's a picture of Dr. Laura's wounds of wisdom.
Wounds.
Ointment.
You got it.
Where are we? There we are. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. It's a big picture on the right margin of the frame. Keep going. Episode synopses. There. Oh, no, keep going. There. Oh, there it is. Higher, higher, higher. Just put it up. Yeah. No, yeah, that's it. Just bring it up so people can see over everyone's head. We have the Dr. Laura's Wellness Solutions line of products. This particular one is Wounds of Wisdom Restorative Ointment. It's a topical reminder that growth is uncomfortable and usually avoidable. We've got the Weight of the World Bank blanket. We've got the You're Not You If You Can't Poo Bowel Tonic. We've got weekend retreats, all kinds of wellness products. So yeah, we've got the accountability mirror.
Just to bring us back to reality. In a world of misinformation and sensitive people, how will you make sure people are aware that this is a comedy when they're tuning in to TV?
Well, I think it's going to be very clearly a satire. The other thing is, Dr. Laura is qualified. She's just not qualified as a doctor. She has a PhD in film studies. And having seen every possible mistake people can make on screen in the process of getting a doctorate, she knows exactly the human foibles and how to resolve them.
I think on that note,
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Laura, Dr. Laura, filling in line. I'd like to invite Tiasha with the devil. Devil? We'll find out how it's pronounced. Stay tuned. Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, no worries.
Hi, everyone. It's been a while. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for the, yep. So, my name is Tiasha. You can call me T. Welcome to my pitch presentation / proposal, the Diavol. So the Diavol, it comes from a Russian phrase, which means the devil. Moving on to the next slide. The story concept is the devil is obsessed with this woman in her 20s whose life seems kind of ordinary, like nothing is really going on, you know. But supernatural disorders are kind of surrounding her life story, so he believes that her soul holds the key to restoring the balance between hell and humanity. So, in terms of the genre, is there a crossover? Yes. Supernatural thriller, slow burn, dark romance, and dark fantasy, I would say. In terms of the format, I was thinking like a 7 episodic thing, like where it gets really interesting. It switches between dual narration. Episode 1, 3, and 5 will be from the female protagonist's perspective, and 2, 4, and 6 will be from the Diavol's POV. Episode 7 is where everything combines. It merges together, where things kind of happen simultaneously at the same time. Moving on to the next slide, thank you. So in this world, the world I'm trying to build, in this universe, there is no heaven or hell concept. It's kind of like the mid-heaven, which is the earth, and purgatory, different versions of the like hell. Everyone is a sinner here, and everyone, even for their minor mistakes, they have to atone for their sins. So, yeah, I'm just gonna, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, so that's basically the synopsis, I would say. Moving on to the timeline, is it doable between like 16 weeks? Yes. because the first 2 months is going to be a lot of pre-production. It's going to be kind of just fleshing out the characters, doing workshops. There's going to be fighting sequences. We have to do it very carefully. And filming, let's say, if it begins in December, and I'm going to keep a 1 month for post-production, genuinely. In terms of the budget, so mostly it's going to go towards like food and prop, set design, and costume. Thank you. So the visuals, I feel like my inspiration, it comes from the series Sandman, if anyone is aware. So I feel like Melbourne as a city, it is so beautiful, and why my web series is like different from other productions. It's like, I feel like other productions so bright, so colorful, so contrasting, but Melbourne in nighttime, it's so dark, it's so hauntingly beautiful. It's like darker, more nuanced, more darker, like more complex, like human psychology. So that's why I've taken the Sandman as the inspiration, because I wanted to depict Melbourne like alleyways, and also like even the retail and the hospitality culture in the daytime versus the nighttime. So yeah, some of my inspirations goes like Lucifer, the Sandman, the End of the Fucking World, if anyone has seen the show. Moving on to the target audience, I would say young adults, and also Gen Z, which I feel like is wider term, but anyone who can relate to supernatural, thriller, horror, and dark romance. I feel like with the movie Obsession, supernatural is such a cool thing, and I feel like if we merge it with like a hybrid genre kind of a setting, it has so much potential. As vertical dramas, we can do TikTok, we can do like Instagram, and also like even like as a, sorry, yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Moving on to the equipment and the crew roles, yeah, we got the in-kind support from RMIT and some of my peers. And crew roles, I will say anyone who wants to be a part of it is so more than welcome. Like, it can be writing, it can be working out, like, gaffing, and also, I feel like it's a learning process. So there is going to be room, like, if anyone messes up, it's fine, but we're gonna make sure it's a very qualitative, like, product. Next slide, please, thank you. Yep, thank you, and also, I should have done a QR. I feel like that was, but anyway, here's the email, and if you guys wanna check out some of my previous work, yeah, there's a website. Cool, thank you. Any questions? Yep, let's start with her.
Sorry, can you pass this behind?
Hi, thank you. I love that you brought up sort of like the Melbourne nightlife, because obviously it's very beautiful. I'm just wondering, are you actually planning on shooting like in the streets of Melbourne at night?
In the streets, I was planning mostly like a midnight shoot, but in the specific alleyways, which I feel like is going to look like really good, because I really want it to be like cinematic. So I have this alleyway in mind, but I'm just like, I'm gonna source the permit first and then go ahead with it, because it's kind of like a private property. So
right.
Yeah.
I was just wondering sort of like how you would like guarantee safety for the cast and crew.
Yeah. So the alleyway that I really have in mind, it belongs to like one of the places where I work at, so it's part of their private property. And like for this midnight kind of shoots, I understand there's like a lot of considerations which is involved, which is so fair, I feel like. But like we have done shoots like this before, and what we usually do with is kind of like talk to someone who owns the property, and then only if we get the confirmation or the approval, we go ahead with it, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Any other questions?
I'm just wondering a little bit about the plot a bit more. The woman that he's obsessed with, does she know that he's like, you know, thinking this about her? At what point does she find out?
That's a very good question. At first, initially, like she doesn't have any idea, because she feels like she's just, let's say, working her like dead-end jobs or something, and then supernatural disorders, which keeps happening around her, she kind of like clocks on that, ooh, this is kind of weird. And I feel like from my story structure, from episode 3, she kind of like has this kind of dynamic. If you guys have seen this show, Something Very Bad Is Going to Happen, they show a really, really cool perspective of this devil, which is a fisheye lens. It's so cool. So we're gonna try and do that with a little bit of a Dutch angle, but from episode 3, because it's a dual narration, she's gonna start clocking. And she's not dumb, she will clock it. Anyway, yeah. Any more questions?
Questions?
More than happy to answer.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, awesome.
Oh no, you go first. That's only fair.
So it sounds like quite an ambitious project, which is great. However, you do have quite a limited budget. So do you feel confident that you'll be able to use that limited budget to your best ability, especially with things like if you're planning to have like great production design and all of that sort of thing?
So I feel like even like especially with these projects which I really want to go like all out for, and for me sky is the limit, but I believe I have kind of like peers who kind of share the same visual, and we have done projects like this before. So we believe in ourselves, and also with the equipment we have in mind, we are going to do the proper storyboarding, proper shot list, proper everything down to the, because I believe in having specifics and having a really cool idea, and I have the characters, some people in mind for cast as well. In terms of the budget, I just want to treat the cast and crew with like proper food, proper drinks. If you're going overnight, I want there to be coffees, like just like, yeah, so that everyone feels that their time is being valued. So I would say in terms of the budget, we got it covered in terms of like equipment. We got everything, but I wanted to go for the food and props and also like the set design. Yeah. And to answer your question, within the timeline, I think we got it covered. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just had a question because the genres you mentioned, like dark fantasy and sort of supernatural, if you were planning on doing sort of like special effects and how you was sort of if you weren't, or if you were, like how you were planning to convey that sort of like the devil character and like that magic in the world?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I feel like what I was planning is there to be supernatural powers. I have to flesh out the characters like a little bit, and also what the supernatural elements are going to look like. In terms of the VFX, yes, I want there to be effects, but I want it to be realistic as well, because I believe that this kind of story, what I'm trying to make over here, is going to be a little bit like, oh yeah, how it's gonna look, is it going to be like flying objects in the air, we're gonna do it with a string. It's not like that, but it's going to be more like nuanced, it's more psychological, so it's easier to show and also to be executed. I feel like that.
I feel like you got the look and the mood on point. I'm curious to know where you see yourself in this production, producer-wise, director-wise, writing-wise. Where do you see yourself in this production?
I feel like I want to write the series first, but also if anyone has any like ideas in terms of like writing workshops, like yeah, if someone wants to contribute in terms of that, they are so more than welcome to. We can collaborate on something. But to answer your question, I was thinking director. I've directed like some like series, like actually shorts to be honest, and director and just that. Yeah. Cool. Thank you guys. Oh.
Thank you so much. All right, next up is Josie with From the Top, exclamation point.
Can I do my multi-thing? Can I plug into HDMI? Pretty please.
Is it with the pitch? Is it with the pitch deck?
I sent. We got this. Social media person, and I asked very nicely.
Okay. I didn't know any of this, but.
Okay, right. I will play audio through my laptop, and you will play audio through your laptop. Yeah, I will play it as loudly as I can. I'm going to do a funky little thing. I can also.
Do you want to pop it on top of the laptop?
Yeah, I'll also do my own tapping along, if that's okay.
Okay, sure. Sorry. Oh, no.
Sorry, just give me a second.
That's okay. I'll start the timer when you start.
Awesome. I'm also going to time myself so I keep it on.
Okay, cool. One back.
Start mirroring. Is that coming through? That is.
Oh, left your phone.
Jared, give me the mic.
The mic.
Okay, that's good enough. Okay. Ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, everybody ready? Okay. We're gonna start. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Okay, everyone. How can I also please be up there, pretty please? Hey, thank you. Okay, I'll just talk loudly. This works for me. How we fucking doing? Whoa! We're still fucking here at 9 o'clock. Let's fucking go. Okay, I'm gonna give myself a fucking heart attack. Just give him. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thank you, Viv. So, I'm going to ask you all to imagine the worst film shoot that you have ever been on in your entire fucking life. The worst one, the one that gives you nightmares, the one that you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking about. The one that, imagine if the last 10 minutes of that, the last take of the day, repeated over and over and over again. You could literally never escape. For minutes, going into hours, going into days, going into weeks. That's what this is. This is a time loop show. It's from me and my buddy Feather, who is unfortunately not here right now because he's dead. That's a joke. Okay, so yes, What If the Worst Shoot of Your Life was literally never ended. It's a show about a disaster film set stuck in a time loop because the director made a deal with the devil that the project would be perfect no matter what. It's a modern fantasy horror comedy. It's the studio meets Buffy with a bit of Doctor Who and a little bit around the twist. 6 or 7 10-minute episodes, get it, 6, 7, where each episode is one self-contained time loop, right? So you have, time goes through and then sort of boom, loop, repeat with a little bit, like a minute at the end to tease what's going to happen in the next one, right? The protagonist is a safety officer who is not doing their fucking job because they are a cowardly little bitch, right? I'm autistic. I write about autistic people, right? So this is someone who is signed up to a job that they don't quite understand, who has like a duty to hold people accountable, right? And they are stuck watching themselves fail over and over. Also, the time loop starts immediately after they ask someone out, so every loop starts with them getting rejected. Which is, and being like, oh, okay, great. One other person does seem to be aware that there's a time loop going on, who is a behind-the-scenes photographer who showed up late and acting a little bit coy and they're a little bit of a cunt. So is anyone here a Doctor Who fan? Is anyone here a Doctor Who fan with decision-making power over this project? Fuck, okay. So essentially what we're doing here is like a Doctor Who picks up a new companion storyline, right? We have normal person in a horrible, terrifying, paranormal situation, and then this mysterious, magical stranger who's going to come in and be like, I know a little bit, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't trust you, and we're going to go on a bit of an adventure, right? It's also about how being a perfectionist will literally kill you, right? And make everyone you work with hate you. And that if you want to accomplish difficult things, you're going to need to work together, and teamwork and friendship. So yes, basically it ends after interrogating everyone. They realize the director has a problem. He's made some deal, but they doesn't know he's made a deal. And they convince the entire cast and crew to fuck up the production as badly as possible and convince the director to call a wrap. And that's what sort of breaks him out of a time loop, right? Okay, characters, safety coordinator. I made Sims. So we've got some outfit vibes. Imagine there's also like a high-vis on this too, right? I want to play with the idea of like wearing a high-vis makes you a bit invisible. So terrible, anxious, awkward, led feelings before thought, and they don't really know what they're doing, right? Okay, social media photographer, thinking like wizard, tech wizard, right? This kind of person who casts spells using cameras. I've got more shit for that, but you can ask me in the Q&A because I'm running low on time. Director is, writer-director who's never done anything before in their life, and this is the most important thing in the world. They're crashing out, they're catty, they're harsh, they're mean, and with every loop, they literally physically decay more. And so the devil who is basically possessing this director is deliberately left ambiguous as a challenge to the costume designer. But it's basically like a natural force, right? This person who possesses you to sort of I have to make this perfect, I have to make this perfect, I have to make this perfect. And so, yes, moving on, Love interest, sort of character who plays the love interest in the fake short film within the thing. Moving on as well. Fuck. I sketched this out entire thing for like a pitch to the RMIT Theatre Club, but they didn't want it because they're wrong. So anyway, production info, it's not my department, but basically I'm going to run this the way we ran Hen's Night last year, right? Which is shooting 1 episode a week. We sort of, everything's down in the studio. This can be entirely done within the studio using existing materials is a thing I want to convey, right? So this is entirely on site, entirely recycling, right? How much time do, fuck! Okay. Oh, I was going to do like a little dance. No time. Fuck!
You can do it in the Q&A.
Okay.
All right.
Have to check the rating of the screen now.
Okay. All right. Question me.
This isn't really a question, but this more or less happened to me recently.
Many such cases.
There we go. Hi, I love the idea, but I'm giving you the chance. Can I see your dance?
My dance?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck, social media. Okay, so what I was going to do is I was going to set the thing to like slideshow to repeat after itself, like a time loop, and I was going to play like a little song, and then that was going to be like, is that playing really? Is that, fuck, it's not. Okay, never mind. Oh yeah, there we go. It's like the, okay, it's gonna like, it's a cover of Here It Goes Again by OK Go. And it's like, it's gonna like, here it goes again. Yeah, next person.
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say, it reminded me so much of that one Community episode where it's like many different timelines. Has anyone seen Community? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Very cool, very cool. I just want to say, because I think currently RMITV has a like sort of like meta production going on, now filming, I believe. Now filming Midnight's Child, something like that. So it's well, it's about a crew filming something. It's very different. There's no sci-fi element or anything. I'm just thinking from like a marketing perspective, like how would that be marketed to differentiate this production end?
Okay, so to answer that, I would have had to have done my research, and I shat this out in like 12 hours while I was very sleep deprived. So I think, honestly, the emphasis on this is going to be really sort of character-based, right? So I'm primarily a writer. I put on a show for the Fringe Festival last year. Abby was in it. It was great. And so that's really going to be the emphasis here, really tightly scripted, really tightly run in that department. I also want to do like a little bit of kind of funky magical stuff. I've got something in here about how we could do magical effects either as like in camera using like UV lights and sort of theater tricks, or using kind of hand-drawn animation styles, which RMIT has a bunch of animation artists, and I'm sure we can find someone who'd be up for that.
Hi, Josie.
Hi.
Have you seen the movie Shadow of the Vampire?
No.
Oh, it's an alternate history version of the original Nosferatu film where the director recruits an actual vampire to play Count Orlok. Anyways, I just thought of that a lot. I think you should. No, I think you should watch it. I think you'd like it.
Really challenging question right now, Mal. Thanks. Yeah, I can tell.
Hey.
Hey.
You might have mentioned it during your pitch, but it just popped into my head. How are you going to make the time loop interesting episode to episode? Because obviously the same things happen again and again. So how are you making that interesting each time around?
Yeah, so what I'm really going to, the trouble is really the second episode, right? Because the second episode is going to be the like, oh fuck, I'm in a time loop episode, right? And that's kind of works for like a bit, but it might have to be kind of honestly compressed down into a montage. I think the interesting part is going to be the photographer wizard and then sort of safety officer protagonist working together to try and figure this out. So that's going to be the bulk of it. Episode 3 will be sort of those two basically confronting each other. Someone goes in, pulls a fire alarm, and these are the only two people who stay in the building, figure out who the fuck are you, what the fuck are we doing here, right? And then after that, it then kind of goes into using different tools and different techniques to interrogate and figure out where does this come from, right? And figure out how does everyone in sort of the cast and crew relate to each other, and then also how does this kind of, yeah, so on and so forth. It's a mystery, right? It's a kind of paranormal mystery thing, and that's the core of it.
Sorry, very quickly. Not really a question. I saw Ad Nauseam recently. Huge fan. I absolutely love that. Fabulous. And I kind of get that, like, kind of similar vibes to that, which I love. So yeah, I just wanted to say I really appreciate, like, kind of more, like, off-the-wall projects with that kind of vibe. Like, I love that idea so much. I wish I could see more of that here. That's all.
Any other queries or questions? I've got like bits on practicality that I didn't get to, and I'd love an excuse to.
Yeah, speak to the practicality of this production.
Okay, so I want to be perfectly clear that, thank you very much, I really appreciate it, you're so kind. So I want to be clear that this is something we can do with like trash and things we have lying around at RMITV, right? So I want to use that kind of camera, that one right there. Everyone look at that, sorry camera operator, that one. Shoot everything kind of camcorder, kind of handheld, keep everything kind of run and gun and kind of light, right? We'll take a writer's room down into the sort of props and sets area, see what we have on hand. As far as the fake film within a film, I wrote this as a play, so I wrote it to sort of make fun of student theatre, but you can't do that because people aren't really doing a whole bunch of period dramas in like student films these days. So it'll probably be like a crime thing with a briefcase, right? Or some hashtag relatable content about like a workplace or something like that, or a share house, or what's the other one I had? Someone has to confront their family about something, right? So that's the like fake thing within a thing, and that is all things that, but it will depend on what flats and what props we have available to use right now. So the $350 budget we have for a web series outside of catering will be able to go far. We'll be able to stretch that. And we'll be able to use that for funky props and like special effects. I want to have like a light meter that has like a human eyeball where the weird little white orb is. Okay, you know? Yeah, right? So, you know, it can be done.
Any other questions?
Hi again.
Hello.
Have you given much thought to having like a continuity officer on set to keep like the time loop stuff like, yeah?
Yeah, so, the other thing as well is that this also ties into practicality. Everything, it'll be the same set every single time, so pack up and pack down will get really quick as well. The trouble with that though is we're going to be having the same actors come in over multiple weeks, right? So we'll need to go really hard on continuity so we don't have a situation where someone's haircut changes between episodes. Where sort of someone's clothes like get burned and then stay burned or something, right? That also means we can kind of shoot things in like crazy out of order in theory if we want to go like hard on the pre-production. But continuity is going to be a kind of a thing on this, right? It's something we're going to have to absolutely lock the fuck down.
Wonderful job, guys. We have one last pitch. Thank you so much. I know we've gone over. Happens. So I'd like to invite Luna and Brett. Is it both? 1, 2? 1, 2. We've just got the one mic. I'm sorry.
We can. Okay, you might not need to know this or be told this, but Melbourne is the live music capital of Australia. But it's not just music. It's also the home of live comedy. It's also the home to vibrant and exciting theatre. It's also the birthplace of a lot of incredible visual arts. The tune-up is a celebration of that, because Melbourne's also the home of live television production. It has been since the beginning of the genre back in 1956. By the way, I wasn't there actually, just in case you were wondering. The tune-up is, at RMITV, has been a really important part of that lineage. It's been shows like The Loft Live and Under Melbourne Tonight, Studio A, Chart-busting 80s. This program is a continuation of that tradition. Live television, bands, interviews. We did a first series. It was a training episode, not just for the people who joined the crew, but more particularly for us as well. We looked at what we did, we've made some changes, and we think that we're going to produce a really fantastic program that everybody's going to enjoy. What does that evolution look like? I will hand you over to our producer, Luna McLeod.
All right. Lightning round, all right? What is the tune-up? It's a 25-minute live music show for established and emerging local artists. 3 segments, 7.5 minutes each. Celebration of Melbourne community media, as Brett said. An opportunity for RMITV members looking to graduate from pre-recorded productions and dive headfirst into live television. And also a platform for artists who don't have a voice otherwise. Here are our 3 main demographics, starting with, most importantly, RMIT students and alumni, followed by Channel 31 viewers, and finally community media fans, people that enjoy Triple R, PBS, etc. Why is the tune-up? You're okay. We have the B team, right? We have a second team of people who are going to be going to location, a la Good Bites, and basically give us a pre-recorded segment every week for that variety, for that on-location feel. It's going to feel more like a special interest, ABC type thing. Next one? You're all good. Demographics and audience. The tune-up's going to feature an eclectic and diverse mix of artists, spanning every genre we can find, every type of person we can find, everyone. We want you. Our crew will welcome everyone to apply with encouragement to join, especially if you're multiply marginalized or concerned we won't have a spot for you. Trust me, we have a spot for you. Next slide. What does an episode look like? Just keep clicking. All right. We have the host introduces it, followed by the band plays. Then we have a short break, and we have our pre-recorded segment, followed by, this is very low res, an interview with the band, followed by the band finishes up, plays the song, credits roll over the top. What do we need? Studio and gear. You see it, you're in it. We're going to film in Studio A. Don't worry about it. Keep going. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. Performers and crew, we want you. We want a diverse range of acts. Once greenlit, we will open up submissions immediately. All genres and backgrounds, whatever it is. Do you eat fire? Are you in a punk band? We don't care. Get in there. Don't worry about that. Live music, live television, lasting experience. Thanks.
Please bear in mind that the new Spider-Man movie does start in a few hours, and I'd like to be out of there before then. But apart from that, we're happy to answer your question. Yeah, what was the time on that pitch?
3 minutes 44.
Wow. 20 slides. You're tired, you're ready.
Hello, I'm Nekshi, and I would just like to say how this pitch, it kind of reminded me of ABC's Countdown, even with the older man sort of resembling Molly Meldrum.
He needs the hat. If we can get... I don't think we have the budget for the hat.
Well, that's fine too, Molly Meldrum doesn't show up all the time with the hat either.
Are you sure about that? Have you seen him without it?
Yes. I have been watching Countdown.
I'm not quite as bald as Molly is yet, but give it time. Then I'll wear a hat.
Anyways, I just wanted to say, they reminded me of Countdown and that I like the pitch.
Thank you.
It's good.
The first series, I'll let you know, seeing you've mentioned that, seeing you've mentioned that, the original series was very much based on shows like The Old Grey Whistle Test, a little bit of Countdown, shows like Rock Arena, sort of classic shows that focused on a particular band. The interesting thing was there were a couple of things we learned in terms of the format. One of those things was it worked really, really well if people liked the band, but if you didn't like the band, that was all you had. You watched the first couple of songs and went, oh, I loved it. What a great show. We had that with the first episode. We had a band called the Kitty Hawks. They were a ska band. I had so many people say, loved it, absolutely fantastic. The next week we had a completely different genre, and people went, oh, yeah, didn't like the first song. Halfway through this, I thought, no, this is not for me. The other interesting thing was sometimes musicians don't always make the best guests. When they've got great personalities, that's fantastic. But on a couple of occasions, we did have people on who really didn't give good guests. And so under those circumstances, we had a lot of people, we were contacted by a lot of comedians and people saying, hey, I've got a show coming up for the comedy festival. It's really good. We'd love to come on and talk about it. And it just didn't fit the genre. And it's like, we'd really like to expand because, yes, primarily it's driven by music, but there's just so much other stuff. And the reason we did it was to expose these acts, to expose these people.
The frauds they are.
Yeah, the frauds they are. But just keeping it to music, I think, sort of limited. So it will be very much, music is very much the driving factor behind the program, but it's going to open up, as I said, to other elements of live theatre and live culture in Melbourne as well, including things like comedy, arts festivals, and all sorts of other things. Also, Luna sort of touched on the fact that what we want to do is, this is not just a half-hour program for Channel 31, and also we should point out it is also live on YouTube as well. The program will go live every week, which, as the first series did. The thing that we want to do is we want to make this more of a platform that puts RMITV in touch with other areas of culture and performance in Melbourne. And this is why we're talking. Luna's got a lot of connections within the Melbourne community radio sector. I've got connections within television, the theatre and the arts. And we want to sort of bring that together and sort of, make it more than just a half-hour program on Channel 31. We want it something that can go on and can move into other areas. Any other questions? No. Next question.
I have the mic. Compared to last season, obviously it's a live television program. What would you like to see changed in terms of like technical challenges or the set or how the bands are set up? What would you like to see updated?
Or do you want me to?
I mean, yeah, I'll try a few alterations. I think there was some issues with, because it was a training show, I think people felt as if they were being thrown into the deep end and being allowed to drown. And I think we need to sort of clarify more in terms of, getting people onboarded and getting them to feel like, okay, this is how we're going to do things, and we're going to try to, I think, streamline things a bit. And, I think we might also need a designated set in the corner, like having an actual backdrop, maybe a couch, make it a bit more cozy. It felt maybe a little bit cold in season 1. We're just, sitting on the bandstand or sitting on a chair and then running away with the chair. I don't know if that was conducive to a very homely atmosphere. It doesn't feel like a small intimate gig. It feels like a corporate event.
We wanted to give it sort of that more industrial sort of look, and looking back on it, it was sort of too industrial. It didn't look industrial at times, it looked more amateurish, and it wasn't conducive to having good interviews as well, because it didn't have that comfort factor as well. People sort of perched on the side of the risers or on a couple of stools or something. So it looked very haphazard in that manner. So that's one of the things we're going to change. The other thing was, in terms of getting people in and out and doing that efficiently, the last time around we had significant problems because of the roadworks and the work that was going on in the Metro Tunnel. So it was very hard to get bands in and out, much harder than normal. I should point out that we've had around 30 years of experience in getting bands in and out of various television studios in this complex, not just down there, and we haven't had the problems we had for the first series of the tune-up. It was a bit.
It was sort of a once-off thing.
Yeah, so it was so hopefully that was a once-off thing, and we have plans to make that, to streamline that.
Brody?
Fantastic pitch, guys. I love the celebration of arts and culture. What I'd like to know, though, is for first-time RMITV members, when they join in for the first time, and what are they expected to get into on their first day, and what are they expected, what will they get out of it?
To go back to my pool analogy, it's going to be less diving off the board and more wading in the shallow. I think we're going to have On the first day, we're going to have a couple of hours of icebreakers, getting to know people, and just, talking, what are your goals? What do you want to get out of this? What roles do you think you want to take on? And then we can sort of look at, doing a mini training program of, okay, this is the basics of this role. You can, how about you hop on the controls? And the first one we won't broadcast, but we might take snippets of as a pre-record for the following episode. Sort of ease people into it. And then second episode, maybe say, all right, you've been on the controls, maybe get a mentor to, do it next time, and you can sort of shadow them.
What will they get out of it, though?
Out of
like
oh, you mean the show?
When first episode, when the show's out of it, what will they be able to talk to their friends about and be, I'm proud of this?
Well, I've sort of pitched it to my friends as, well, you want to work on a short film. How about one short film every week for 10 weeks, and you get to see the short film at the end of the day. You don't have to worry about Brody editing it and finishing it and delivering it to you.
Too much often.
We can deliver a short film at the end of the day every week, and I sort of said earlier, I skipped over it, but really where, if you were on Fishing for Love, consider this, your graduation to live, right? Go for the bigger fish and reel in this opportunity. Actually, wait, can you go back a slide or two?
Yeah.
Can you go, hang on, wait. Hang on, wait, forward. Hang on.
No,
Yep.
No, it's there.
I said, whether you're a Bass Pro from Fishing for Love or a certified gourmand from Good Bites, we encourage everyone who likes good music and wants a chance to apply their skills in a live setting to apply.
Working with a very experienced crew, and people are going to have that experience at the end of the day, and it's a very short turnaround. We will produce it, if it's anything like the first series, we'll produce it 1 week, it goes to air the next week. Simple as that.
And then it'll be live on YouTube and Twitch.
We did it, guys. That felt like the Odyssey, but good every way. It was a good Odyssey if it was good and fun. I think it was. Would like to thank everybody for sticking it out till the end. If you haven't filled out the feedback for each QR, please do. You can take the booklet home with you. It's not going to expire or anything yet. So fill it out, because the more feedback everybody gets, the better. Yeah, what a treat. You're all wonderful. I had a great time. We'll do it again. Thanks. We're going to be packing up here, but if people do want to stick around and talk to pitchers, please do. We'll still be around. But yeah, thanks.